If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, you can for $1 a month over on Patreon. Thank you. We briefly touched upon Sonic Colors, but here's the big news. Both parts, and as well as the full release part, could have waited a week to release that on Sega,
Yeah.
of Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisps came out.
Yes, the touted animated short they advertised back for the Sonic Central. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the first one being fully voice acted.
Yeah, the first one to have the actors involved and dialogue and all that things.
Plot-wise, pretty decent. It can act as an interquel during, the Sweet Mountain rescue.
I was thinking this because I know this was something I was thinking to myself. Is like, where could this be placed in? Because we weren't sure if this was after or during the game, and as you said, it could be fitted in as like you could say this is like a cutscene they would have made for the game, but they obviously they wouldn't have gone back and animated it with the assets, so they just did this as a fun little, just a fun one-off. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually something they put in the game as well. If they put the complete version in the game as like an extra once you finished it.
That'll be surprising.
Yeah, we'll just wait and see.
Well, they included the the release trailer for Sonic Adventure 2 HD when that came out. The Heritage Collection, which we added nothing to since.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it?
Animation was fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I have to say my abiding thought of this is that it's cute. If I had to sum it up in one word, it's very cute.
Yeah. I'm gonna get flack for this because whenever someone mentioned it on Twitter, because I saw it like
I know where you're going with this.
And they got flack for it because, I don't like the writing of Sonic's character. I think ever since, I'll give the initial first release of Colors some flack. It's like, new writers, a bit more comedic, but it wasn't like Sonic wasn't so much of, I don't know, full of himself.
Egotist, really.
Yeah, I know he's got a bit of an ego, jumps in without thinking. That's the only good written part of Sonic Lost World to me. But the characterization of Sonic, I just don't like. It's like, oh yeah, Tails is talking about how the Jade Wisp escaped, what's going on, Eggman's face, his plans, and Sonic's just bored listening to it. So it's like, come on.
Yeah, I saw this. This was the first reaction. I was generally surprised this was coming out because this was written by Tyson Hesse. This was written and directed by Tyson Hesse, who everybody just loves regardless. Like, he is the savior of the series in a weird way. People have acted like that. And
fourth one anyway.
Yeah, in a way. But yeah, I saw that little sequence in part one. And I mean, the funny thing is people keep forgetting is like the very moment, he lies on the floor, goes like, all right, carry on, try and add it more interest. The very next bit is then the Jaco says, oh yeah, Eggman jumps into a car, it explodes, and there's a dinosaur in it. And he goes like, oh, I see what you're doing here. And you see it like nodding. It's like, oh, he knows, they totally get each other.
Yeah, I'm not saying the rain's bad. It's just, I don't know. I think the part with Forces where Sonic releases after being in prison for 6 months, it's like, yeah, we've gone to a point now where Sonic apparently can do no wrong. There's no struggle.
Yeah, well, again, it's interesting because I've had
and to the person who's got to try and call out, or the person who called it out, so people are expecting Shakespeare levels of Sonic writing. It's like, no, I just want some I just want some struggles, a bit more conflict. This Sonic just kind of batting away everything. Because I've seen Shakespeare level writing, and it's like it gets boring after a while.
Well, if you want Shakespeare's writing, watch Dawn of Justice, because God Almighty, they love to pontificate on loads of bullshit in that film.
Oh, the second and third Matrix films.
Yeah, I mean, believe us, we've seen people try to act like Shakespeare, and it either ends up dull and really, really tired. So the fact this is just a cute little short, it's like, I'm totally fine with that. But no, I mean, I did see a lot of people talking like, is Sonic acting as a character, which is weird because so many people have ideas of what he should do. I mean, the whole gimmick, of course, is that he's the hedgehog with attitude. That was like the slogan in the mid-90s. And you could argue this is more of that sort of slight stubborn ego working on him because, of course, he does, he laughs at Tails when he starts laughing, doing Robotnik's voice, and then he says, oh, I'm going to give it a go, and, starts riffing on what he's saying.
Yeah.
And
I just think personally for me, it's like, I don't know, like Black Knight and Unleashed kind of had the character work in the situations he was in. Like, in a conflict when it comes to Unleashed and his his werehog form, and in Black Knight is understanding the chivalry and knighthood.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot more understanding. Was trying to be, or he was in at the same time not trying to be arrogant about it. Like he had in Black Knight and Unleashed, he had his comedic moments, but it wasn't this.
Yeah. I mean, we have said this. I've said this before. Like every game is kind of like you can view it in like a Looney Tunes cartoon. It's like every game is different because it's a different director, different tone. So they're gonna jump up and down depending on, and because it's the same character, it's like the consistency is always going up and down as well. I mean, again, it's like I don't think there's anything. They haven't done anything wrong to him. I mean, it's like hell at the end of it. The end of part one. After hearing about what happened to the other Wisps who were trying to break the other ones out. He immediately goes like, "Yeah, that's sad. I'm gonna start beating the shit out of those robots. Once I find them."
Yeah, he had a good moment at the end.
Yeah, so it's like it's there. So it's not like he's totally uncaring, whatever. It's just he can act like a bit impatient and just kind of, stubborn in a way, but it's like he doesn't care. It's like, no, I don't think that's ever. It didn't happen for me. That was the thing. For me, it did not come across like that.
No, I'm not saying the shot is bad. It's actually very enjoyable.
No. I'm just saying it's like I said. This has been the weird reaction to part one, at least. Of all things. That was the thing that surprised me.
And people are in love with Metal Sonic using
everybody's favorite
Wisp capsule.
Yeah, well, there's a few things I told you is I think this is the first time Orbot and Cubot have ever had a scene together, at least in animation form. They've probably done it in the comics or whatever, but this is the first time they've interacted with each other. And of course, Orbot calls him like his big brother. And throughout it, in fact, if you notice, like on his, he's got like a highlight near his like brow, which of course, like there's a few shots where it looks like he's just like, I'm not giving a shit what these two idiots are saying. It's like he's just not caring. Oh god, I have to work with these two bumbling idiots type deal.
Yeah, is that those are the highlights. Like I like Orbot and Cubot because like they're the new scratch and grounder.
Yeah, the scratch and grounder, the Sleet and Dingo, the Daikun and Bokun. In fact, actually, towards the end,
no, not those two, not those two. No, oh, sorry, no.
Well, I'm only saying
it's just scratch and grounder, okay?
Yeah, but I only say that because near the end of part two, they try to transform, and of course, they just stay in his arm, and of course, it reminds me in Sonic X, Daikun and Bokun try to do the same thing, and they don't do it. They have this like fancy anime action bit, but it's like, oh wait, we're still ourselves. So I mean, that's what you remind me of, at least.
And continuing with colors, apparently in Europe, the physical versions are being delayed.
Yeah, that was a big news.
We learn longer. Sega Europe has announced that unforeseen logistical problems has caused delay in shipments of the game to most EMEA countries. The only exceptions being Australia and New Zealand, meaning anyone in Europe, in the Middle East, or Africa who pre-ordered the game won't be getting the game at the time as the rest of the world.
Yeah,
It's yet to elaborate what the logistical problems are.
Yeah. To be fair, though, cynically, I'm thinking if it's because they spell colors, if they have to spell colors differently in all the other parts of the world, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I would not be surprised.
Oh yeah, it's all great now. It's like you do realize you can spell colors with a U in Europe, right?
Everywhere, yeah.
You do?
Oh bugger! Oh bugger! Oh god! They always have to be.
I also just noticed that maybe because I am in even on Sonic Stadium and UK versions of Sega, it's always been the American spelling every time. I've never noticed that. I've been here too long. Okay, it's been 6 years.
Yeah. You've forgotten your roots, Dan. You need to.
No, I still spell it with a U. I just don't notice it.
Yeah, but that's what I find funny is like if it is that, I mean, who knows if it is that or something else, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is just the fact you've got to put the U in. But the fact is, you're still able to get the game around about September time, so you'll be able to still play it.
Yeah, I ordered it from Amazon, and I'm ordered it for the Xbox One. For one reason only. It's the only console I own that does not have a Sonic game with.
All right then, okay.
I mean, the PS4 has Forces, the Switch has Mania and TSR.
All right.
The Wii U has Lost World. The 360 has all the 360 games on there.
Unleashed Generations.
The PS3 has my Genesis collection on it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really count, but it's got Sonic on it, so shut up.
It does. If it doesn't microchip, it'll play Sonic. That's the main thing.
Obviously, the handhelds, I've got the Xbox One is the only console does not have a Sonic game on. And before you say, well, you can play 360 games on the Xbox One as well as
compatibility.
It's like, yeah, but it's still a 360 game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, I'm playing Adventure 2 on my Xbox One. Doesn't mean it's an Xbox One game.
Well, the fact is, it's effectively you're playing a 360 game, which was a GameCube game, which was then a port of a Dreamcast game over 2 decades ago now.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. But yeah, I mean, I'm still a little hesitant, obviously. I mean, I'm definitely looking a bit more forward to the game. I mean, obviously, when it comes out, I want to try it out again, see if particularly control-wise, if it's been updated in some form. I mean, if it plays the same, I guess the fact in 60 is a little better, but still, I'm still waiting. There's going to be like a backlash for people who thought the game was good a decade ago are going to say, oh, it's shit now. So, I'm still waiting for that wave to come in. And I'm
the first one saying. I've been saying it for a few years now. But I would rather replay Forces over Colors.
Mm-hmm.
The only one control thing I want fixed in Colors is the jump because it feels way too floaty.
Yeah, but I mean, am I right saying that it didn't have like a double jump, because I know they did that in Forces. Oh, right. I was going to say, because I do know that was the thing. And it was like, did they ever is there a text that pops up saying you could do a double jump? It's been so long since I played it. So
I don't know. I usually avoid the pop-ups.
Yeah, but like I said, that was the one thing I remember thinking to myself, oh, you can sort of double jump in this game. You can do a main jump, but then there's a little hop, basically.
Yeah. Well,
But either way, going back to the short for itself, I mean, generally, I thought it was really good. I like the style. I like the fact that each time they do these, they try something a little different. I mean, as I said before, I don't think this is the funniest one. I mean, being the first voiced one, it's kind of dialogue's fine. There are 1 or 2 funny lines in there.
Yeah, when you add dialogue to it, it loses a lot of its charm because usually it's the emotions, it's the I call it the Gromit effect.
Yeah, it's the brow effect. It's just Gromic's brow can give you anything from happy, sad to angry.
I mean, yeah, I know you have more facial features than Gromit does, but it worked with Mania Adventures. It worked with TSR,
Overdrive,
and I don't know.
Even the Chow in Space.
I'm not too sure whether Chow in Space as well. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if it's the art style or it's just the way the voices work with it.
Yeah, I will say when I first watched this, part of me is thinking, does Roger sound a bit younger? That was my initial take. Was like, does he sound a bit younger when he first started? I mean, that would be so weird. I don't think he is. But I think you said it's like it feels much more like what he's done in Boom. Like it's more of that natural speaking voice he did more in Boom.
Possibly.
Yeah. So
and then again, I think it's a bit more relaxed in this one because then again, I know it's technically the second, but this was I call it the first game where he was Sonic.
Mm.
So I think it's a bit more relaxed and it's into the character at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for what it is, there is 1 or 2 good lines. I do like the whole, well, I like to stay in chat with you, but I don't like any of you. And then there's even a bit of like, don't worry, I think we're all likable people. That bit made me giggle a little bit. Again, there are some nice little visual gags. Like my favorite one is towards the end where Metal Sonic decides to put one of those. Well, anything with Metal Sonic, like he picks up one of the wisps, like just holds it, like do your job. Like he doesn't know what to do. Then he gets the little battery powering him, and then of course at the end the ghost switch just fades for him, and you just see that thing, which just made me laugh. Again, it reminds me of in Endgame, the Thanos says I am inevitable, the finger stab, just that little clink. Just that for me is the funniest thing in that entire fucking movie.
It's amazing how a simple little millisecond of a sound effect.
Yeah, just a tiny little.
Just makes you lose it.
Yeah. If I had just rewatched it, there's a moment where he's been beaten up when Sonic uses all the wisps at once. There's a bit before he gets crushed. If you slow it down, there's actually like a Metal Sonic. There's a quick expression of him kind of going like, huh? So if you watch it frame by frame, you could see again those little smears and gags they put in these things.
Yeah. Anyway, about Sonic Colors, we'll expect it September 7th.
On your end, at least.
On my end, Europe, maybe another.
Wait and see. Maybe.
Digitally, it's still probably available. It says physical releases.
Yeah, it's physical releases. Yeah, so who knows? But yeah. Hey, I mean, 2022. That seems to be a big year for Sonic. So who knows? Maybe it'll come out by then.